the 8th annual Exceed the Seed, the premier symposium for seed, soil, and crop protection. We're glad you could join us for the first of 4 online events. Now please join me in welcoming our moderator, Dr. Luke Samuel, Manager of Business and Technology at AgriThority.
Good morning and welcome to our 8th annual Exceed the Seed Symposium. Obviously, we're not in person this morning, but we are very excited to have you join us this morning on our new online format. First of all, if you have any issues or technical issues with the Microsoft event, please send us a chat through the event or email us at info@agrithority.com or call us at 1-816-891-0916. We'll be keeping an eye on any of these requests throughout the hour to make sure you have a great experience. A couple of housekeeping items this morning. The content is all pre-recorded, so please ask any questions through the chat function on your Microsoft Teams event. And we will have a live panel with our speakers during the last 15 minutes of the hour. We will also be posting these presentations along with contact emails for any networking opportunities or follow-up questions you may have beyond the time today. So please be sure to stick around to the end of the hour when we will have all of our presenters live to answer any questions that come in via chat. All right, on with the show. My name is Luke Samuel. I am the Manager of Business and Technology at AgriThority, and my work and passion lies in delivering technology to producers, bringing in the agronomics, understanding the needs, and certainly that starts with a holistic product development program. As a company, we are devoted to delivering quality results that drive both customer and company revenue streams. My background includes time with Monsanto Company, the Climate Corporation, and Compass Minerals. On behalf of all of our global team at AgriThority, thank you for joining us today for this first part of our 4-part series about improving performance of innovations. Today we have a great lineup of experts to help address those challenges on the pathway to commercialization. To kick off this morning, we are going to welcome our own Dr. Gloverson Moro. Gloverson leads our global product development process here. His focus is going to be on the importance of a disciplined product development process in developing those products in a way to ensure that you hit your target market and you fully realize the value of that product with producers. Gloverson Moro leads the expanding science and technology group here at AgriThority and directs not only the product development and field testing, but also the regulatory services worldwide. He has extensive experience across seed development, biotechnology, crop protection, and regulatory management, and has managed teams in Latin America, Asia Pacific, and North America. He has multiple academic degrees, including an MBA, and his Ph.D. is in molecular biology. Gloverson is from Brazil. He is fluent in multiple languages, and today he'll be addressing us in English. Please help me welcome Dr. Gloverson Moro.
Hello, I am Dr. Gloverson Moro, Global Product Development Director for AgriThority, located here in Kansas City, Missouri. And welcome to this 2020 online edition of Exceed the Seed. I guess this is the new normal. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about the importance of implementing stage gate development process when bringing technology or new products into the market. To transform any new concept into great products, rigorous development process is critical. And make no mistake, this is as much about process as it is about science. Where new products often fail is exactly because there has been the absence or poor implementation of a critical developmental step. Here at AgriThority, we apply our prescriptive response development process to move innovations into the market. That extends from discovery through early and late development all the way to product launch. It's a learning process where we accumulated all the necessary knowledge to move through each stage. And starting with scoping and early development, I like to say that That's a moment when you have many questions in need of an answer. And as we move through early development, those questions should be addressed through well-conducted studies, well-designed studies, and conducted in very well-controlled environments. In other words, we're talking about many treatments, few locations. And the goal here is really to reduce the number of variables around your product concept, making sure that it is robust enough to face the environmental variability that should face ahead. And when ready, the product can then move to late development to be tested exactly in an increased number of environments. That translates into many small plot replicated trials conducted over many locations and multiple seasons. The robustness of that data will be directly correlated with the number of replications and number of environments that product or concept is tested. Ultimately, the goal here is to define what is the best way to use that product or technology in such a way that it's ready for prime time. But we should also say that when technically ready, the product must also have the freedom to operate from the regulatory standpoint and a clear go-to-market strategy. I mean, both critical also for a successful launch. With all that knowledge accumulated, the new product is then ready to go into the launch phase. That means allowing farmers and distributors to experiment with it, okay? That is what we call technology transfer. And that's important because, I mean, truly, growers listen to other growers. And this consists of on-farm large demonstration trials aimed, I mean, to allow, I mean, different people to get engaged with that product. And if you can, through that process, also extract data, it's even better. That's what the unique AgriThority trial works, on-demand farm demo with data, dedicates a lot of effort to generate data to reinforce successful launch, I mean, use and value in the field. And also has the advantage of offering an opportunity to detect any product limitation under farm conditions. So, going through rigorous product development process is key for product success. That is, by the way, the main expertise of the AgriThority team. So, and that's what we dedicate our effort for. And above all, our goal is the success of our clients. So that's what I have to share with you today. I thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My information is on the screen. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Gloverson, thank you for the insights about how to develop a disciplined product development process. I think we all understand the needs of making sure you have the right product, you understand your market, and you make sure that you do all the diligence to ensure when you launch that product it's going to be successful in the marketplace. Thank you again. Our next speaker is Jim Schultz, founder and managing partner of Open Prairie. Jim is a fifth-generation agricultural investor and entrepreneur. He has over 40 years of investment experience. Jim has been instrumental in starting and providing capital to companies throughout the U.S., and at Open Prairie, he has served in a board capacity at several portfolio companies, including Legacy Seed Companies, Vestaron Corporation, Agrivita, New Leaf Symbiotics, and Commoditag. In addition to his career in private equity, Jim has held senior leadership positions with the Illinois State Chamber of Commerce and the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago Small Business Advisory Council. Please help me welcome Jim.
Look, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for the warm introduction. It's great to be a part of Exceed the Seed today. As I look at the question you've asked and the challenges and barriers to new innovations, I think there's three that I focus on when we're talking to companies. One is farmer engagement, grower engagement. We see that as often a missing piece of a presentation. And what are the farmers saying, and how are they using new technologies and new opportunities? Secondly, in many cases, particularly we see this from Silicon Valley as it relates to the Midwest channels and distribution patterns, there's a lack of knowledge of how ag retail and ag co-ops operate in the ecosystem. And I think that's a critical missing link in many cases. You can have the best technology, but if you can't get it into the channel, it's really something we scratch our heads about and say, how does that become a meaningful revenue generator for a startup company? And then finally is return on investment. It's not a case of build it and they will come. It's a case of showing the farmer that every penny of investment is going to generate additional ROI for that farmer or grower. And we don't, in many cases, see that ROI being represented or presented. So if I was an entrepreneur, I'd be talking about farmer engagement, talking about channel partnerships, and about ROI. There's so many great technologies out in the market today with so much promise and wonderful entrepreneurs with a lot of enthusiasm. And I would encourage innovators as they look at their pathway from their idea to a commercial launch to think about four things. And one of those is really important. It's going to always be the case, I believe, is field trials and having 3 to 5 seasons of field trials to point to show consistency and repeatability of the product or opportunity. And I'm talking more about crop input. Another thing that's really important is understanding the path to making it a gross margin positive kind of product. We see a lot of product launches that are negative gross margins, so the cost of goods sold is greater than the ability to generate revenue. Tied to both of those is having a great independent professional organization like AgriThority managing these field trials, managing the commercialization launch, and helping think through a lot of the aspects about building a profitable business. And then lastly, I would encourage entrepreneurs to think about bringing in key opinion leaders. I know that working with AgriThority, they've been helpful in finding some of those individuals from time to time. But I think those would be 4 aspects of what I think are good pathways to commercialization. Field trials, understanding COGS, having a good CRO relationship, and having good key opinion leaders as part of your team. There's probably 2 things that I would focus on as far as how to be successful, and then maybe secondly, where the opportunities are that I believe exist today. A collaboration and farmer-grower trust are 2 areas I think an entrepreneur needs to be very focused on. We see often what I call the Sun Tzu strategy of Silicon Valley, and that is just take no prisoners, win the war. In rural America and in the Midwest where we operate and where a lot of the traditional growing crops are raised, it's a different, more collaborative approach, and it's a small town approach and working together to achieve ends that I think sometimes is lost with some of the new technologies and entrepreneurs that we see from time to time. And then the farmer and grower trust is really critical. Who owns the farm gate today and who's going to own the farm gate tomorrow, I would contend is going to be not unlike where we are today. I think it's a generational thing that has been in development for decades, maybe approaching a century. I know in our own family business that was an important element of success in the seed business, was that relationship that started with a grandfather and went to a father and then to a son and then to ultimately that great-grandson or great-granddaughter. And then as far as opportunities today, we look particularly at 2 areas that we think are really burgeoning today. One is controlled environment agriculture, vertical farming, glass house, greenhouse. We think with what's happened in the last year, it's become even more relevant and also become more obvious that you can make these operations profitable. Until this time, we didn't feel that way. Until last year at this time, we continued to see inability to generate profitable CEA kind of opportunities. And then another area where we see a lot of future opportunities, automation, robotics, remote monitoring, those types of technologies. That's where we at Open Prairie today are spending our time and focus. It's been a pleasure to be here, part of the Exceed the Seed forum today. I wish I could meet with all of you in person, but again, thank you for the opportunity to present.
Jim, thank you for those great insights about how to think through the challenges and opportunities from an innovation investor perspective. Next, we want to introduce Dr. Marcus Jones. Marcus is the VP of Research and Development at Douglas Plant Health. As an experienced practitioner in agricultural research and product development, Marcus has a history with innovation and emerging technologies. He is adept at experimental design and cropping systems, and since his academic years at Penn State and Michigan State University, he has led and collaborated with teams at Syngenta, Monsanto, New Leaf Symbiotics, Adama, and ICL Specialty Fertilizers. In his role at Douglas Plant Health, he directs the R&D efforts to bolster the existing portfolio and spur innovation in the biological space.
Thanks for the invite here and for AgriThority putting this together. And even under the challenges that we face today, we still get a chance to get together. So thanks for that. Some of the key things I see that challenge us with new products. Does this stuff work? Does this product that I'm considering, does it do what it's advertised to do, what it was designed to do? We really need to understand that we have enough data, we have sufficient data, we have data across enough environments, enough crops, enough geographies to pull the whole story together. Other factors are, how the product is going to be used. The whole Exceed to Seed is how do you improve, seeds and seed treatment, and all of that encompasses, well, so many materials are going on the seeds, fungicides, all these compounds. Does the product that you're bringing to market, is it compatible with existing chemistry that might already be on there? And then, I would say really educating the channel. Who is the end user? What are the use patterns? What crops? Have we really done our diligence on that? And then I would say a real challenge is perception that growers may already have in the marketplace about a particular product. And how to overcome that is, it goes back to my first point, and that is with good data. From my experience, the really important steps are to consider the end from the beginning. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you addressing? What does the product that you have, what needs are being addressed? You want to think about, from regulatory, from a marketing, and this type of thing. So, and that could involve even the how you test the cropping season, how you go about doing that. Is a year a testing cycle, or do you have different seasons? Can you go counter season? Are there other places in the world where you can test this thing? All of these are very important R&D considerations that you need to take into really consider from the very beginning. So as I think about the future of how we're going to bring products to market and innovation to market, we have some significant hurdles, and we are very good in agricultural technology of building very, very targeted solutions. I guess, for lack of a better term, we call them silver bullets. The agricultural systems, things that are happening out there that all converge are now creating such a complexity that we've got to take a step back and think more systematically. We have to think about soil. We have to think about soil health. We have to think about other things that are, becoming more and more apparent that bring us into a systematic understanding of, the entire growing system. The way that we bring products to market. So I alluded to earlier, kind of a strict requirement of there's probably at least a minimum amount of seasons of data that you've got to bring forth before, a channel or a company will say, yeah, we believe in this product. But if you think about us in the age of COVID now, If you look at what's happening with vaccines that are just about to be deployed, it's just flat out miraculous. We don't know the end yet. We're hearing 90% effectiveness and this type of a thing, but just think how quickly, with a focus that we even got to the place where we could say we have a vaccine from 3 different major companies in just an astronomically short amount of time. It's incredible. I think about this because, could the same thing happen in our agricultural research development where, it takes 3 years to get, something. Well, could we be moving the ball in the way that we test, in the way that we really apply machine learning, big data analytics, all of these things that we have as tools available to us? Could we then, even shorten the time, even though we have to address complexity? So it's a fascinating question to me, one that does not have one answer. And I'm glad to be a part of at least, thinking about it. But these are the things that really stimulate thought and make you really consider, where we're going in the future. As we conclude here, and I think there might be a panel coming up, I just wanted to, again, express, thanks for the opportunity to share some thoughts about these issues that are very important. So thanks very much.
Marcus, thank you for emphasizing the importance of solid research and development process, including a regulatory pathway. Taking the conversation further about key ideas of focus for successful commercialization is Keith Vodrazka, who is now Director of Business Development at Talipot U.S. Services. After serving as many years as technical and commercial roles with Cool Planet, Bayer Crop Science, Chemtura, Arista, and Plant Impact, Keith brings a wealth of experience from big multinationals to small startup companies in understanding and their shared challenges of moving innovations to market. Keith, welcome to the show.
Well, first, I'd really like to say thanks to AgriThority for the opportunity to present to this group. The greatest challenges are how you're going to allocate the resources and capabilities that you have on your team as well as in your company. The reason I bring this up is no matter whether I've worked for very large multinational companies or a startup that's composed of only a few people, it's always a question of how do you take the resources and the capabilities of your team and decide how you're going to use those to achieve your goals and bring your product down the path to commercialization. Part of that, dovetails right into your go-to-market strategy. That helps you, focus those resources on what you want to achieve in which markets. So a go-to-market strategy, developing one that's clear but also has some flexibility, that's really critical. It's not, strategy to me is always a question of what direction am I going and do I have the discipline to stick to it? Really, it's about understanding what is the market like today, where is it going, what are the future trends that are going to affect the development of the market, and where will my product launch into those future markets. And then the third thing would be what commercial partners do I think best fit the way to allocate my resources, the go-to-market strategy that I've developed, which partners fit with that. I think it's very easy to come up with a great idea and concept, and then all of a sudden you run into multiple barriers and complexities that all of a sudden you're trying to figure out, well, how is this great idea going to make it to market? I think first and foremost, understanding how well does this product fit the market, not only today, but the market that's evolving of tomorrow. Being selective about those markets so that you can focus, again, going back to how you use resources and the talents of your team and how you develop a strategy goes back to, have I clearly identified these are the markets, and it may be fewer rather than big markets with a lot of players in it. You might have more success by focusing on markets where this is a great fit, the rates work, the formulation is ideal, the ease of use is there, It's easy to get registration. Sometimes it's easier to go into those markets and establish success before you try to tackle something that's got a lot more barriers and challenges and a lot more competition. It's easy these days to find somebody that's developed a concept in a lab. It's really a lot of them out there, a lot of great ideas, but there's a real big reality check. A lot of times when you've got people that aren't real familiar with agriculture, with the markets, with the desire to be more sustainable, and the barriers that those can create for people in getting to the market. It's not really well understood by people that haven't been in agriculture for long enough to understand what those challenges and barriers are. For a small company like the one I work for, you have to get some outside help. When we have really good strengths and capabilities on our team, the reason we formed the team we had, for instance, is because each of us had a strength to bring to the team. There are things that you need to outsource in order to somebody who has expertise. And I'll just say AgriThority is one of those who has certain strengths and areas and capabilities that we don't have internally. So a lot of times you've got to go find, a reliable partner, business partner in the market that has a strength in that area so that they can help you get there much faster than if you were trying to do it yourself. I'll give an example for us as a company. Let's say in the seed treatment world, you have to do seed safety testing. Well, most companies don't have that capability internally. It makes a whole lot more sense for getting there faster to go resource or to outsource that to a third party that has expertise there. Well, let me just say thanks again to the AgriThority team and to the opportunity to share from my experience on the barriers that are out there. There's obviously more, but there's three key ones I think I've experienced. And I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there in the market today to develop new products, to develop new solutions that will achieve, greater profitability for the grower and the customer, as well as, sustainability. So it's an exciting time to be a part of the market and to be a part of the effort to bring new innovations to that market.
Thank you, Keith, for reinforcing the need to identify the strengths of the internal team, maintaining that strong focus on reaching your goals, and really to fill any needs that you have with outside expertise to fill those gaps or execute more quickly. Well, on the subject of channel partners, our next guest is Dr. Chiakai Kang from RaboResearch Food and Agribusiness. Her work as a farm inputs analysis indicates the needed changes within the supplier channel. Please help me welcome Dr. Chiakai Kang.
Hello everyone, my name is Chiakai Kang. I'm an analyst in the research team of Rabobank. My role is to follow the latest technology development and translate that into business opportunities, and also to quantify the impacts of these disruptions. And I'm going to tell a story about shifting from supplier to coach. This story is especially focused on the crop protection sectors. And I will introduce this storyline by the 3-to-1 orders. 3 means 3 reasons why it is so important for the crop protections companies to move forward from supplier to coach. These 3 reasons is in the following. 1, the growth of agrochemicals are facing great challenges due to resistance issue and also due to social pressure. Second, this price of farm inputs, especially crop protections, they are too expensive relatively to the value they create. So in one word, they are losing their pricing power. And the third one is the public calls for sustainable changes, and this call for sustainable farming practice stimulates policy changes. So that means for crop protection products, the new one, they will face a strict registration process. And also for the old ones, more of the old ones, they are in the risks of entering the banning list for various countries. And then the next step, I will talk about the two new drivers that stimulates changes. They are agritech and also biotech. Agritech, it opens the door for new for precision farming and for e-commerce and then indoor farming. While biotech, it offers new tools like new alternative solutions such as biologicals and biocontrol and also seed technologies. And then in the end, I will focus on this example of new value creation. I called it coaching. By coaching, I mean this is to offer the farmers with the decision that is made based on the data. So for this, the data needs to be collected and then processed and then analyzed. So in the end, lead to a decision that is the best for the farmer to maximize their performance. So in such a way, the new value will be created by this coaching service. Next, I will also show the quantitative result, how much value can be created by this coaching. So it shows like it varies between 26% to 72%, depends on which farming systems it is. And then in the end, I will show the challenges and the new risks that is identified by this new coaching business model. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Much more data and supporting information is available from Dr. Kang, and she will be available live, as will all the presenters, during our open session following our final speaker. Last but certainly not least, I am really excited to welcome Martin Gruss. Martin is the former head of Global SeedGrowth at the Bayer Crop Science Division, and he has been a champion of groundbreaking achievements in seed and applied technologies that have created and expanded market segments. During his tenure with Bayer, Martin managed the crop protection business in Australia and New Zealand, and then for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and finally as the global lead for Bayer SeedGrowth platform. Martin is retired but remains committed to maximizing seed value and high yields for farmers and producers while serving on the AgriThority Board of Advisors. We thank Martin for sharing his experience today.
Yeah, thank you very much that I have the opportunity to talk to you during this occasion on the Exceed the Seed that AgriThority is now organizing. I would see surely that innovations have different introduction and acceptance in different parts of the world. We see that growers generally are very interested in new technologies to improve their, I would say in general, always return on investment. And this is different in different countries. Some countries are very progressive in trying new things on part of their farm. So they have the advantage to compare once the products are available. Other innovations try to unleash the potential of the seed, the yield potential. So that's where they really need to be convinced with proven tests, field tests, with hopefully tests that show results across different geographies. So even more important to have reliable organizations that do the testing and can show that the new technology works across a variety of situations. I think important is this trust part because growers usually try to get different opinions. So that could be surely of the supplier of a new innovation. It could be of their direct supplier of seed or crop protection, or it could be an advisor that they are very close with who gives them the opinion about this new technology. So for that, I think the overall still the return of investment is what's important to the grower, with high assurance that the probability of the return is coming in is given to him. It is very important to clearly define what the market is. So how urgent, how severe is the problem, or how much more yield, for example, can you achieve with introducing this new technology that you want to develop. Because that is really creating or setting the demand or potential demand for a new technology. Surely, I mean, taken that new technology can be registered, can get the approval to be used, because that's one of the biggest hurdles at the kind of before you can really think about commercialization. But is how can this technology at the end being used on the farm or for the grower? What is the technologies and processes that are necessary to use this new innovation? You have to understand the supply chain of the products and the seed, how the grower at the end can use, for example, the treated seed. Testing is and showing the results, the performance of the product is very important, and to have the opinion leaders on your side. Important, I think, is also to be very clear what is your unique point in this new innovation, and which challenges you can solve for the growers. And as I said, also you have to consider also the supply chain down to the market. So I think the biggest hurdle at the end for making a product successful is really the acceptance in the market. So once you have defined the right audience for your product, that they really see the benefit of that, then you get also the acceptance, and that the growers and the whole channel to the grower will push that product forward. And also, how does it improve the overall return for the grower? What would also, with the high acceptance, hopefully, and high market share, be also a high return for the research and development company who's bringing this product to the market. Thank you very much for listening to my inputs and view to this topic. I would be very happy at the end to answer questions that I might have left open.
Thank you, Martin. And thank you to all our presenters, Chiakai, Keith, Marcus, and Jim. It has really been a great session. Now we're going to wrap up the recorded portion of the program and go live for a discussion and some Q&A with our panel. Martin, Chiakai, Keith, Marcus, and Jim.